Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a review on Fakhama by the Spirit of Dubai. So Fakhama is from the first generation collection, and I've actually got a 5 ml sample which I've been using a lot recently, and I've actually almost finished it as well. So I want to show you the sample first because the Spirit of Dubai first generation samples are really cool. So they come like in this little tube, and then if you take the cap off, the fragrance, the 5 ml sample is actually sitting inside, and it's a normal sample obviously, and as you can see it's nearly finished. But what actually stands out to me the most is this. If you take the ribbon off, usually with the other samples you can just pull it out, but this one wasn't pulling apart. So if you take the ribbon off and then you open the scroll, it's got all the information on the fragrance inside. So that I thought was so beautiful, so different, so unique. This one, it tells you all about the fragrance Fakhama, like where the inspiration came from, what it's supposed to represent, and also it's actually a 3 ml fragrance and not a 5 ml this one, so sorry about that. But yeah, I thought that this was awesome, to be honest, and this is the case with all of the other samples. Like, it's the same with this one as well, and they're all like that from the first generation sample box. So Fakhama, the fragrance, I don't know if it's supposed to be the sibling fragrance of Narjesi or Heba from the second generation, because they're both like based on rose. Narjesi is like super complex, and I've done a review on that before. Heba though is another beautiful fragrance, one of my favorites. And I personally think that Fakhama is more relatable to Heba than it is to Narjesi. So Fakhama is supposed to represent luxury, and it definitely does with the original bottle, because the bottom part is covered in like diamonds, fake diamonds obviously, but it definitely gives like those Dubai bling vibes. The scent itself is also very luxurious and is one of my favorites from the first generation collection, which isn't a surprise because rose and oud combinations are my favorite anyway. There is a little bit left in this sample, and I am going to spray a tiny bit on my arm, just so we can talk about this fragrance as we go through the video. Fakhama opens with pure luxury and it projects like crazy. So imagine walking into the Fashion Avenue of Dubai Mall if you've been there. That is exactly what it smells like. The opening itself is quite complex. Like, initially you get rose on skin and in the air, but then minutes later this changes to like a dry fruits, a little spicy on my skin, mainly cardamom, and on the blotter. On the blotter you also get fruity notes with that. Then after about 20 minutes, the roses start to come out on my skin, along with some hints of oud, and the spices kind of remain. And then after 1 hour, it becomes a rose dominant scent with some light spices, patchouli, and it stays like this until the end. This though is like literally a stunning fragrance, and as I said, it's one of my favorite from the first generation collection. So Fakhama is unisex despite it being like about rose, because it's got the spices in there too. So it makes it unisex. But some people might think that it leans more towards the feminine side because of the rose, but I personally think that it's unisex. It is a wonderful year-round scent, but I think it's more suitable for like evening events, evening dinners, that type of feeling. But it can be worn during the day too. Like, there's nothing to say that you can't wear it during the day. But obviously just go easy on the spraying if you're wearing it during the day, because it can come across not too strong, but because it projects a lot, you don't want it to come across too strong. Overall, this lasted more than 10 hours on my skin, and it lingers much longer on my clothes. I know people have this thing about like spraying perfumes on clothes, but I always spray on my skin and on my clothes because fragrances do stay around longer on your clothes. Personally, I don't see how that's a problem, but everybody has their own opinion. So I'll just quickly run through the notes of Fakhama with you. So top notes, you've got dried fruits, Turkish rose, Bulgarian rose, damask rose, fruity notes, oud, spicy notes, sweet orange, elemi, cardamom, and coffee. And then in the middle notes, you've got rose, saffron, benzoin, vanilla, sandalwood, patchouli, coriander, ginger, and vetiver. In base notes, you've got amber, incense, spun sugar, leather, and oak moss. So on the blotter, about 10 hours later, this scent is about the amber, the leather, the incense, and the oak moss. But I don't get this on my skin. On my skin at around 10 hours, it remains rose and patchouli until the end. But I do get some of those amber, leathery, incensey vibes on my clothes the next day. So overall, this is more like a rose, lightly spicy patchouli fragrance. And that's why I think it kind of relates to Heba a bit more than it does to Narjesi. Because Narjesi, as I said at the start, is super complex. There's actually nothing like it. But yeah, I personally like Fakhama. I really like this fragrance. As I said, don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged if you're a man and because it's a rose fragrance, you might think it might be feminine. But I definitely recommend you to try it out because it is unisex, and if you try it out, you'll know what I mean. I'm a little bit sad though that this sample is almost finished, so I've got like a couple of sprays left. I'm going to leave that for a special occasion, or I might just finish it off on the next Eid. We'll have to see. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions about Fakhama, then let me know in the comments box below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in my next video.